Welcome to our deep dive today.
It's going to be a good one.
We are going to be talking about a mystery.
In medieval England,
Ooh.
we're going to Ludlow and Hereford.
Okay.
And we're using a really interesting book
Called Badmoney
Badmoney.
as our source.
All right.
And we're going to be looking at
Stolen silver.
counterfeit coins and maybe even...
A little rebellion.
Oh, wow.
So are you ready
I am ready.
to solve this?
Let's go.
With me.
Okay.
This is going to be good.
Yeah.
So we start with...
A theft.
Okay.
And our main character...
Stephen Attebrook.
He's the deputy coroner.
So you can think of him?
Like an early detective.
Okay. When Mistress Bartolot... Stephen is called in.
To investigate.
All right.
Yeah.
Obviously, stolen goods are a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
But there's something...
A little bit strange about this case.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What is it?
So the stolen items...
Are silver spoons.
Okay.
Which Mistress Bartolot...
Inherited from her late husband. But here's the catch.
He was accused of embezzling from the local guild.
So these spoons represent...
More than just sentimental value.
Right.
This was like her lifeline.
Wow. These
Right.
The only way that she could support herself,
Interesting.
along with the spoons.
The thief also took a bronze cross.
A bronze cross.
Yes. Now, why would someone steal a simple cross?
I don't know.
When there's valuable silver right there.
That's a good question.
I know.
That makes you wonder.
It does.
So initially,
Even suspects.
the maid.
But
when he examines Dungeon's room...
There's no sign of the spoons.
Oh.
So we've kind of hit a dead end.
It seems like it.
Right.
Yeah.
But just as Stephen starts grappling with this mystery...
Another incident.
Shakes the town.
What happens is found dead
Oh, no.
at the home of Sprunt.
Who is a wealthy glover and hatter.
And guess what else is missing?
What?
More silver.
Really?
So it seems...
We have a pattern emerging.
So two thefts,
Yeah.
both involving silver, and both with another less valuable item that's also been taken.
It's like the thief is taunting us
Sending a message.
with a riddle.
Okay.
Now, this is where we meet.
A new character,
Okay.
Harry, who is a legless beggar.
Okay.
But he has a really sharp mind.
All right.
And he basically has his ear to the ground.
Okay.
He suggests that the boy was involved.
In this latest robbery.
And then mentions another silver theft.
From a manor called Bockleton.
Interesting.
It seems like our local crimes are painting a much larger...
More sinister picture.
Okay, so we start with a few stolen spoons.
Yeah.
Then a dead boy.
Uh-huh.
And now there's whispers.
Of other robberies.
Yeah.
That's not good.
So Stephen needs to figure out...
How these events are connected.
Yeah.
So he enlists Harry's help.
To see how someone could have gotten on Sprunt's roof.
And this leads to a rather comical scene.
Oh, really?
Where Stephen...
Is carrying Harry on his shoulders.
Oh, wow.
To the warehouse.
Of Will Thumper.
Will Thumper.
Who is the head of a family.
That's known for handling stolen goods.
So basically the head of a thieves guild.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Now, Will Thumper...
It's a fascinating character. How so? Because he denies...
Involvement in the recent thefts.
Okay.
He says he wouldn't steal locally.
Interesting.
But he doesn't really deny.
That he's involved in other things.
So he's got a code.
Yeah, like...
He has a business. And he's running a business.
I mean...
And it just makes you think
about...
about...
those gray areas.
In society.
Yeah.
You know who decides what's acceptable business? When the lines between legal...
And illegal.
Are blurred.
That's a good question.
And then we find ourselves at...
The Broken Shield Inn.
Where Stephen is staying.
Okay.
And a journeyman goldsmith...
Named Nicholas Fane.
Is found dead.
Oh, no. In the privy.
Not only
does he have a head wound,
but his purse is cut as well.
So clearly foul play.
Yes.
And when they search his possessions...
They discover...
A set of dies.
Dies.
Which are tools.
For minting coins.
Oh, wow.
So this suggests that Fane...
Was involved in counterfeiting.
Counterfeiting. So this is getting serious.
I know, right?
And we learned...
The night before...
Fane had an argument with someone...
About cheating at dice.
Okay.
So could this be connected?
To his counterfeiting activities? Or was it just...
A drunken brawl?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I know.
And then...
We learned that the dies...
Were for pennies.
Pennies?
Yeah.
Like, what's the big deal?
Back then...
Pennies were the currency.
Of the common folk.
Okay.
So if someone is flooding the market... with fake pennies
That means there's
on the most vulnerable members
of society.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty calculated.
Wow. And then it gets even worse.
Because Stephen starts receiving threats,
From
most likely
people
involved in this counterfeiting operation.
So they're trying to silence him?
He's getting too close
To the truth.
This is dangerous.
It is. It gets even more personal.
How so?
Because Stephen's friend and clerk is kidnapped.
Oh my gosh.
And the kidnappers
demand the dies.
in exchange for Gilbert's life.
So they want the dies. But Stephen's already given the dies to the authorities.
Oh.
So what is he gonna do?
I don't know. This is a tough one.
So he's stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, he's got to make a choice.
Does he save his friend?
Or betray the authorities.
Tough one.
Yeah.
Well,
Stephen's a bit of a risk taker.
Okay.
And he decides to take matters
into his own hands.
What does he do?
So he goes to Hereford with Harry.
And he decides to try and steal back the dies
from
the castle.
What?
Yeah.
He's going to break into a castle. That's crazy.
I know.
How is he going to pull that off?
Well,
remember Harry's brother-in-law?
Theo.
Yes.
The master burglar?
Yes.
He might have settled down. Old habits die hard.
So he's back in the game.
He is.
To help his family.
That's nice. So to create a distraction.
He sets fire to the castle tower.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And they managed to get away
with the dies.
Whoa. They got away. This act of arson.
Yeah.
Obviously.
There's some consequences.
But then there's another twist.
There's always another twist.
Yes.
A mysterious
and powerful
noble woman.
Who is this?
Margaret de Tottenham.
Enters the scene.
Okay.
And she also
wants the dies.
What? I don't know.
What are her motives?
Oh.
She's shrouded.
A mystery.
She can the corridors of power.
With ease.
She's pulling strings.
Is she an ally?
Or an enemy?
We don't know.
That is intriguing. So Stephen returns to Ludlow. Obviously now a wanted man.
Right. Margaret steps in.
Oh, really?
Uses her influence.
And secures his release.
I see.
So it seems...
She owes him a favor.
Interesting.
It makes you wonder.
It does.
What her true motives are.
What is she up to?
Now, remember Mistress Bartellot?
The woman with the stolen spoons?
Yes.
Well, because of all the turmoil?
She ends up losing her house.
Oh, no.
It's a reminder
that these
events aren't just abstract plot points.
Right.
They affect people.
Yeah.
But Stephen...
He's got a mystery to solve.
And he
learns from Thumper
that the bronze cross...
that was stolen from Mr. Bartellot.
It was sold in Hereford.
Interesting.
And this little detail...
it turns out to be...
a crucial clue.
Okay.
It's like those little...
seemingly unimportant details...
can be the key...
to solving a mystery.
Right. And he starts digging into...
the connection...
between the counterfeiting ring...
and the disappearance...
of Leah Flynn Wattapass.
The goldsmith. And... through Mistress Wattess,
his wife,
that her husband
was deeply involved
in this counterfeiting.
And he actually killed Nicholas Fane.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Desperate times.
Call for desperate measures.
But it turns out...
Wattess wasn't acting alone. He was working with Nigel Fitzsimmons.
Who is a rebellious baron.
Who has a bone to pick with the king.
Okay.
And if that wasn't shocking enough...
he was also working with...
Maurice Crawford?
No way.
Yeah.
The plot thickens.
It does.
So Crawford's plan...
was to use the counterfeit money...
to pay the king's mercenary soldiers.
Why?
So it would weaken the king's forces.
Right before a planned rebellion?
That's smart.
It is a pretty brilliant plan.
Kept off by Stephen.
They raid Crawford's house.
And uncover all this evidence.
Of this plot.
And then what happens?
Crawford confesses.
So the truth comes out.
Yeah.
But Fitzsimmons and Wattess...
managed to escape.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So they get away.
They do. But Stephen...
for his role in uncovering this plot...
he's commended by...
Prince Edward.
Wow.
But
he's warned...
to be discreet about his methods.
I mean, he did break into a castle.
And set it on fire. But then here's the final twist.
Oh, there's another twist.
Stephen uses the stolen money...
that was recovered from Crawford's house.
to buy Mistress Bartellot's house.
Wow.
Full circle.
I know. Right from stolen spoons to a treasonous plot. We've seen how even the smallest act can have a huge impact.
Like the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
It all starts with one little thing.
Yeah, and you never know.
Where it's going to end up.
And what about Stephen?
Oh, yeah, Stephen.
I mean, he started as a simple investigator.
Yeah.
And then ends up breaking into a castle, setting it on fire.
And basically profiting from these crimes.
Yeah, it makes you wonder about the line between right and wrong.
It's a very blurry line.
Yeah, sometimes.
Especially in this case.
I know. And remember all the twists and turns.
So many twists.
I know, like those innocent characters.
Who turned out to be villains.
Right.
And those clues.
Hidden in plain sight.
It's like you can't trust anyone.
You really can't.
But we're left with some unanswered questions.
Like, bro.
Will Fitzsimmons and Wadapaz ever face justice?
Yeah, and will Stephen be able to sleep at night?
Right. Will his conscience haunt him?
That's a good question.
It is.
It's like the author wants us to write our own ending.
Yeah, like what do we think happened?
To these characters.
Yeah.
What happened next?
It makes you think.
It does.
So if you like historical mysteries,
They keep you guessing.
then you should definitely check out Bad Money.
It's a wild ride.
Yeah, and it really makes you think about good.
And evil.
Yeah, and everything in between.
And all those gray areas.
Yeah. Well, this has been a really fun deep dive.
I've enjoyed it.
Me too, and we hope
You'll join us
next time
for another deep dive.
get to another fascinating topic.
Sounds good.
Until then, happy reading.